Call to order. So we'll take consensus. The first item on the agenda is take consensus on the Operation Committee minutes from April 17th, 2017. Starting with Amanda.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, thank you very much. And the next item on the agenda is consensus on change in budget allocation.
Yes, you'll note on this document that there was an adjustment. The initial amount that the board approved at the meeting was off by $1,041. Actually, we received $1,041 more, so we just wanted to make a minor clerical adjustment on this.
Okay. Any questions on that? Seeing none, take consensus, starting with Amanda.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
And yes, thank you. And I lost my Google Drives here, so next up is the cafeteria report.
Yep. As you have in front of you, as of the end of May, we have a surplus of $57,756.86. As you can see, as we said before, even though we're down about 11,000 meals, we did receive more money in the state of Connecticut, about 73,000. As you can see, the income per day is 9,100, and the expenses are 8,700. With all that said, if everything stopped today, we would have a surplus of, again, $57,756.86. We also would have the Board of Ed assistance, which is $38,724, and we have that reserve fund that we still have it at $119,870.93. So if we ended everything today, we would have a fund balance of $216,351.79. Again, if we go forward, just taking what the income is per day times 180 days, and then take the expenses, increase that by 2.5%, we would have a surplus next year of $22,000. If we went to hire a full-time director, and if we paid, instead of having the 5 subs at full-time, that would give another $20,000. So if all of that was taken into consideration, we would have a loss of $23,000, but still have a surplus at the end of 17-18 in our financials of $193,000.
Yes, Karen?
I have a question. The information that you gave us is that we received more funding from the state. Do you anticipate that continuing next year, or will there be changes?
I haven't received anything yet. The RFP that we sent out had the same amount as we're getting now. Same
Reimbursement?
reimbursement.
Okay.
Yeah.
But do you have any idea,
I
or
don't,
everything
maybe,
is?
Yeah, there would be, the little disagreement I have is on the projection for next year, is the fact that usually is a 2.95% increase in your federal funding. So, taking that into effect, I mean, he projected that there's gonna be a possible, on the expense side, it looks like we're also gonna get it on the income side, because about close to probably $900,000 is federal funding in our budget. So probably another 2%, about 20 grand more, what we get from federal government. It seems that also, one of the things I'm keeping track of is the participation in the free and reduced price lunch, which is a reason why our funding is up this year, besides the fact that we're getting a healthy food certification. Remember, you're only receiving the funds if you serve the lunch. So, based on a lot of the things you heard tonight, the lunches are more appetizing, the children are getting the pizza every day. Instead of losing those sales, we're increasing the sales in free and reduced. Yes?
So that sounds really great and exciting stuff. But did you say that we had served 11,000 less kids this year?
Yes.
Did I miss that?
Yes.
But there are also less serving days in the same amount of period of time.
Oh, there were less serving days?
And, there's a lot of factors that come into effect of that.
How was that?
And
How
I
did we
would
have less
to-
serving days?
Well, because there were more, like, we had a lot of the snow days. It's not
This past year?
But we'll catch up in June, but you serve less in June. But here's
Yeah.
the thing too. Remember, the high schools do not serve when there's a half a day. And there were
Right.
an awful lot of half days this year. Do I have the actual count? No, but I would be more than happy to get it.
That
But
would
how
be
does that
really
compare to
useful.
last year? The
No,
number of
the half
days.
days were the same amount as last year. We had the same number of professional early release days.
Answer, I don't.
Yeah,
I
so.
wasn't sure.
Those were the same as last year. I think in terms of the serving days for June, obviously it's shorter because we didn't have a long school year, but that meant those days were recouped during the school year because we didn't have them off at that point. So we still had 184 student days this year.
Yeah.
Next year, there will be one less student day. So that would have to be, that was already factored in.
It all factors out to that.
Yeah.
I mean, to really dig in to see why we're serving less, I don't have the answer right now.
Because I would even say, if I could, can I?
Yep,
I
go
would even say we had less, I don't know it off the top of my head, I'm thinking we had less snow days this year than we did. We had more this year than last year? Oh, we did, okay.
We had less this year than last year.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, we
yeah.
had far, that's what I'm saying, we had far less snow days in
We
the
had five-
2016, 2017.
You had 6. I'll have to get back to you on that because
Yeah.
it just seemed, maybe it's just the factor of the fact that the year we get out later. But let me check the calendar. I can go back. We can get that. We keep that at the office. I could send that out to you.
And I know some of the discussion on tonight was price increase, and when we were going through the federal audit, I know I reported to the board one time, I didn't think you could keep raising the prices. But currently, there's a formulation, which I did the other day. Your average lunch price has to be right now $2.90, so I think we're below that.
Yeah.
So the board, whether it's me or whether it's Sodexo, I believe you would have to increase the
Yeah.
lunch price for next year by 10 cents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I-
Yeah.
Not for the next coming school year because you would have recommended it as the food services director this year. So I'm assuming you're talking about 18, 19.
I didn't recommend it because I wasn't sure what's going on, but you can probably increase it.
Okay, so I guess.
I think that by the year 2020, you have to be at the same price of a federal reimbursed lunch.
Okay, so I guess I'm just want to make sure that we're all clear tonight. As if you're still the food services director, so are you suggesting you're changing are you suggesting the board should make a recommendation to raise lunch prices next fall?
I did discuss it with Ed a few weeks ago that it would be a good idea if I was staying on to raise the price 10 cents, but it was only just a discussion that we had.
So I guess the question as the present food services director, the question I'm asking is that are you recommending to the board tonight that they consider, because we haven't outsourced, you are, so that enters into a whole nother conversation that the board has to have in terms of running those numbers and running the financials on that, because it's a little bit late, in the process to do that, because we usually do this much earlier in the process, usually at the beginning of the budget process, when we have all the meetings that traditionally we discuss have these conversations and message it to families. So is that 10 cents, just because now I'm hearing this for the first time as in this process, are you saying 10 cents at elementary, middle school, and high school, or what is your structure that you're looking at?
There's a formalization that we just received from the State Department, maybe it was 5 days ago, and I just quickly looked at the numbers, and the average lunch price is supposed to be $2.90. But you have to get all the figures, which I haven't even done yet. So what I'm saying, I could come back and recommend it to the board. Do I think you have to do it for next year? No, but probably for the following.
Okay, because I thought I heard you say that you would recommend it now to the board for consideration for the
No,
fall.
I would leave it off the table right now.
You would okay, so I just want to make sure that we're clear. So we're leaving it off the table right now. But if we were keeping it in-house, the recommendation for the 2018-19 school year would be a 10 cents.
What we have to do is wait to get the federal figures.
Yeah, and the original, if I remember when I first arrived here, the original recommendation was 2018 that it was supposed to be done by, and now they keep extending. Well, they extended it, I believe, the feds, because everything gets extended, like high school graduation requirements, if we ever see them, during my tenure as a superintendent. So, no, because I remember the board was well-versed in this because our previous director would bring the calculator to the meeting and would go through, what would we need to be by what time. So again, I appreciate that. So again,
It's something to keep in mind.
so for the 2018-19 school year, you're saying that would be something that we would want to consider.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Kathy?
Okay, so Alan, a question regarding the calculator. You said you just got it 5 days ago. So we've had the calculator, we've known about it for years. It's always been a calculated thing that we'd had to do. Are you saying it's new because they extended it to year 2020 now? So that's why the calculator changed?
No, because this comes out periodically, and what happens, you get the figure, and it tells you what the price of lunch
Right,
should be.
yep.
Or what you should recommend to the board. But then you have to break down how many elementary lunches you're serving, middle school, and high school. And then you get the lunch average by that. I just looked at it quickly, and we're just a little bit shy of the 289, which is the projected figure for a price per lunch.
All right, but does that put us in violation? Are we, we're not subject, okay. Okay.
And-
Shauna?
And I'm sorry, I'm still looking for a clarification on the reduction in the 11,000 lunches served this year, because if, the first thing was that there weren't the same number of days, but we've just established that there were the same number of days. So I'm just wondering, is anyone looking into that? Because that's kind of a problem.
Once the days even out, the end of June, we'll have the final numbers.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you very much.
Kathy?
Yeah, one other question, Alan, I had, because of that reduction in the meals, I'm wondering, have we reached out to, have we done any surveys, like of the students or parents looking for feedback on the improved quality of the meals, or what they're seeing as, what's new that they like, or what they don't like? Have we done anything like that?
I think it's a great idea, I'd be more happy to follow through with it, but I don't know if I'd be here to follow through.
But nothing was done this past year, we didn't do anything, okay.
No, it's just my visitations to the school and observing what I've seen, student variety, and making sure everything was offered and that they were enjoying it. And, but, you know, the thing is, I can understand 8 and 3, we're getting those numbers up.
Mhm.
But there's so many things out there that parents, you know, that are purchasing the lunch, a lot of them are sending in from home. A lower percentage are involved, below 50% of that. And when it gets to the high school level, it's even less, because they get out so early anyway, they just go wherever they want.
Okay.
And a big thing at the high school level is, I think I mentioned it several times, she and I only has 2 lunch clubs. I think if you had 3 lunch layers, you would increase the participation.
Why? Why would that
Well,
increase?
because it's a smaller captive audience,
Oh,
they come
okay.
through quicker.
Yeah.
And I have to say, Michael came up with a good point, but we made a lot of the changes in our accounting ability, rather than counting everything that the child takes on the plate. We did speed up the lines tremendously, and I understand your point. Yalesville, you have these 2 big serving lines, but there's not a large population, and by changing the registers, we sped up the process tremendously.
Well, I was talking about a long time ago.
Yeah, but you're right, though, there's a full 2 serving lines.
Amanda?
I have a question regarding like the marketing, just because that's my specialty. I remember seeing a brochure previously.
Yes.
Like what other marketing was done, and actually, before that, is the marketing done the same way in all levels, or is it different depending on high school versus elementary? Or
It's different depending on what grade level you're at, but
Mhm.
yes, there could be a lot more marketing.
Okay.
If we marketed the programs, and like you said, there was a brochure that was given out.
Was that given out to high school students as well?
Yes, it was, and it's also online.
Is there any sort of social media or anything? Because I feel like that'd be a better target for high school students.
We got a couple of great ideas from them on marketing,
Mhm.
and we worked together with the 2 high school principals, advertising the breakfast a lot more. And at the high school level, and the middle school, is the menus are advertised on the television screens that you have in there. And one of the suggestions from the state was, that we didn't follow through on it yet, was to get some students active and taking pictures of the food we serve and put it up on the screens and do a little bit more marketing that way. The elementary, very little marketing is done. I think if we concentrate our efforts on that, we could do a much bigger job.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Food service? No further questions. Take consensus. Amanda?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Alan.
Next is the Board of Education financial report.
Yep.
Right?
Go over the first one. As you know, the contingency still stays the same. The bottom half, the transfers were made. Number 2, benefits. We're showing that the surplus of 260. That is our final, we paid all the June bills, so that's the final. Number 3, tuition. The deficit has gone down a little bit. It's $1,026,000. As you know, we did receive the final, Wallingford did receive the excess cost grant at $1,840,097. So, as you know, we constantly told you about the number of kids that move in, and the price of those schools have increased, and our state agency placement percentage has increased. That reduces our reimbursement. And number 4, transportation. The surplus of $324,000 reflects that the magnet school grant of $100,100, and also again we've combined those districts in and out for additional savings. So we're getting the final bills in by Friday, and that should stay the same. Next one, salaries. Salaries have shown an increase from $356,000 to $543,000. 3 things have are reflecting in that. One, I was very conservative on our long-term subs. We've saved $56,000 from last month on that. Number 2, tutoring. We're saving. I said we're going to spend much of it. We're saving about $80,000 on tutoring, and regular subs. We're probably going to save about $32,000. So those 3 items really increased the surplus in salaries. Plus, the non-certified salaries are up or held the same, and that reflects our contract with the clerks and secretaries. We've paid them their additional money that had to be paid from July 1, and also we reflects grant money, additional grant money that we can use to offset non-certified salaries. So salaries are up because of those 3 items that I mentioned. Unemployment stays about the same, 180,000. We may pick up another 8,000. Medicare and Social Security have gone down. We're projecting that this year. Other accounts, remember, I always said there's other accounts that we look at. It looks like that we're going to save about $50,000 in all the other ancillary, that's supplies, textbooks, and so forth. Plant and maintenance, we're going to save probably $70,000. We're over in the gas, about $87,000. We're under in number 2 oil, about $25,000, and we're under in electricity, about $132,000. So that gives us roughly about a $70,000 surplus in those 3 accounts. That brings up our surplus to $820,488. On the bottom, you can see we like to purchase from that unencumbered balance, computer replacement plan of $275,000, furniture, fixtures, and equipment of about $30,000, and then curriculum items, science, math, and ELA resources, about $45,000. If that's approved, we still then go to the 1% balance would be $470,488, and we could talk about once you have those figures that we're doing.
Yes, Karen?
For next year's budget, regarding the magnet school costs, I don't know that we knew this information, but we're going to be starting to get charged for special ed costs. Where is that going to fall in our next year's budget?
We actually did know about that because you had brought it to our attention very early.
Right,
Then
but I
we
just-
followed up and we got the costs per service
Okay.
hour, and then Carrie Latour and Rob Mancusi worked on a number, so that's been factored into next year's budget.
Okay. And what was that number, do you know?
Off the top of my head, I'm not certain, but
It's about $14,000, I think.
approximately $14,000.
Just as long as it's been factored into the budget, not that we
Yes.
get any big surprises.
No, that was, again, your information, your monthly reports gave us the heads up to be able to reach out to them. We got the rate that they were going to charge per service, and then we had to look at the service hours, because it was by hour, and then it was calculated and put together for the budget.
Thank you, I just wanted to make sure.
No, thank you.
Any other questions at this point?
The only, just that you, when you know what you're taking consensus on, is that
Yeah.
you're taking consensus on,
It's the unencumbered usage,
correct,
the rest going to 1%.
Correct.
And then the financial piece itself.
correct. Because these
Let's
purchases.
do them
we-
separately.
Yeah, well, you could do it separately. The
No,
reason.
I just want to do like the financial report separate, and then I'll do the unencumbered piece separate, and then I'll do the
Correct.
remainder
1%.
going to the 1%.
The reason why
470.
the unencumbered we're asking for now is because what we've gotten into a pattern based on the town council schedule is that we don't get our 1% account, approved until October. So with replacement cycle for computers, we have to purchase those prior to the summer, otherwise they won't be delivered, as well as some of the furniture that we need to replace and add for kindergarten classroom space, because we're getting more students, and then the curricular materials. So I just wanted to make
So
sure.
the furniture is all kindergarten related?
There's some furniture for kindergarten as well as some other classrooms. We're looking at we're trying to, based on teacher input and actually more so student input, we're looking at potentially trying an alternative classroom space at both high schools to look at looking at using some of the new technology, using the new furniture with the writable surfaces, the flexible surfaces. So that's one of the areas that we were trying to investigate.
Any other questions? No? Okay. So first, we'll take consensus on the overall financial report for, I believe it's May.
Correct.
Yes.
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 And yes. Next, we'll take consensus on utilizing the unencumbered funds for computer replacement for $275,000, furniture and fixtures for $30,000, curriculum, science, math, and ELA resources for $45,000, for a total usage of $350,000. Amanda?
Yes.
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 And yes. And last, I guess, is this the same, would be the same thing as number 5, transferring it to
Correct.
1% account? So the remainder balance would be $470,488 out of our total surplus of $820. We'd like to take consensus on transferring that $470,488 to the 1% account.
And before you take consensus, the next document, number 5, tells you the big buckets that we'd like to ask the town to put it in. So the next page, it says computer replacement, again, that we've been seeding that every year. That's been fortunate for our district. The FF&E is, again, it's going off of the strategic plan, so we're pulling items off of the strategic plan in terms of the furniture items, which we never get to, goal number 5. And we have a lot of replacement furniture at especially at the high school level, and middle school level for that matter. And then the capital projects, we're asking that be left broad, because we'd like to have that account left unidentified at this point, but using it for large capital purchases. It might be replacement of field surfaces, it might be replacement of portable classrooms, but leaving it broad, and Ed has spoken to the town, and we believe that they'll accept that as a placeholder for us at this time.
Roxanne?
Thank you. I'm just curious, the capital projects, you good with 100,000? That seems low to me.
Well, I think that based on the other areas that we need to do,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
was.
I just setting your priorities and just trying
Yeah.
to make it work.
Unfortunately,
I appreciate that.
We would have, our goal was initially to try to have about 200,000 in there, but it just didn't work out, and that came but we want to show good faith effort to the town.
Yeah.
That we're moving that money forward.
Okay.
And there's a lot of, we have the list of all the furniture that has to be purchased because it hasn't been done and, it's on the priority
I'm guessing
list.
if furniture got priority over capital projects, it's got to be pretty bad
Yeah.
shape. So I
It's-
accept that
Our
fact. I'll
principals,
take,
our
I'll-
principals have been asking, and
Yeah.
it's just where a lot of it is not compliant with, it's with the environment that we want to.
Yep, I
to have
understand
in our
completely.
schools.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Kathy?
I just want to confirm that the 1% account is at 0 right now?
The 1% account is, well, Ed,
Well, it's moving towards 0, okay? We, at the beginning of this year, we held about $100,000 just in case we did not know what was going to happen. So there's still probably about $100,000 in the 1% account because we didn't allocate anything to that area.
So
We
does
were
that give you your
concerned-
2,000 that you need for?
Well, no, because that has to be spent in this.
No, it
No, it
doesn't.
does
It's
not.
reoccurring.
Oh, it doesn't?
No, so,
Oh,
Well-
you could carry that
Yes,
over.
yes.
That's for this,
So,
okay.
so our the balance in that
For
account will be
this-
570,000.
well, the balance, yes, the 1% that you're seeing here that you're approving
Right.
is just what would be remaining from this
This
school
year.
year
Right,
to
the
go
820.
to go towards next year. So what we did, and this was a decision we made at central office because we were very concerned about next year's budget,
Yep.
that we weren't certain if we were going to be able to have, and we didn't know how we were ending the year because special ed kept going up throughout the whole year. No offense, but it just was, it was going up. So we were very, very concerned. And we knew that we needed to replace equipment for teachers and students in terms of technology. So that's why we held back that 100,000. So now we have, that is still there. It wouldn't be, you wouldn't be approving that tonight, but yes, in total, you're right.
That's all I want to know.
It's already, and it can't be touched by the town. It only can
It's
be
our money,
touched by
yep.
the Board of
We,
Ed.
we can carry over funds in that account.
Okay.
Right. Thanks.
Any other questions? So we'll take consensus,
Yes.
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 and yes. Thank you. I believe that covers number 5, correct, Dr. Menzel?
Correct.
Okay. One question I have on the maintenance side, I should have asked it before, but I'll ask it now, but what are we doing, and, because I get a lot of questions on it, what are we doing for the Lyman, or the Sheehan turf? Are we looking at that, are we?
Yes, we've already had several conversations with the mayor. That'll be part of our fall conversation again,
It is, okay.
because we're debating, and Mark tonight, just so you know, Mr. Deptula is at Yalesville because he's doing a presentation for the PTO on the sign, the signage for the new building, or not the new building, the renaming. So that's why he's there tonight with the two, with Mary Poison, going over that. So I just want to make sure
That's
people
fine.
didn't. But the thing is that we've talked about this with the mayor, and there's a discussion about whether or not it's truly a capital item because of the lifespan. That's why that $100,000, I was trying to, no pun intended, seed that account. But trying to grow that so that we
Yeah,
had some money to
okay.
draw from in the future.
I just wanted to make sure we're kind of thinking about that, because that's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Number 6, item number 6, discussion and possible action, or possible consensus probably, on the transfer authority?
Yeah, this is your annual thing that we have to close out all the line items and make sure that they're all matched up. So you provide that to myself, and in turn, Ed and I would work on doing this.
So take consensus on providing Dr. Menzo transfer authority to close out all the accounts. Amanda?
Yes.
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 And yes, thank you. And discussion and possible consensus on the job description for subject area coordinators.
That's
Mrs.
me.
Latour.
So in your packets, you have a draft job description for subject area coordinators at the middle school. This was worked on last year with the administration and Mr. Parkhurst. And this year, it resurfaced in the spring. The emphasis would be to provide a consistent direction to subject area coordinators at both middle schools, so both buildings are using them consistently. The administrations from both schools have reviewed them, revised them, and come to agreement on them, so I'm requesting consensus on the job description.
Ms. Servato?
They obviously get a stipend for this, correct?
Correct.
But do they get any extra free time for it?
No.
No. This is quite a list.
Yes.
Are we gonna get one for department chairs as well?
We
Is
can
that in the works?
certainly work
I know
on that.
we probably have one, but I'd like to see an updated one.
Sure.
Yes.
Just a copy of it.
Well, I think, yeah, I can pull what we had given out during the budget process. I think I still have it. I'll get you a copy for that.
This is, quite a lot of responsibility.
Any other questions?
I guess then, you did, there is a stipend?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I see you arrive 1 week
Yes.
before and stay for 1 week after, which I, I'm not opposed to it, but I just want to make sure, does that violate contractual, and maybe the stipend covers?
It
So
does.
that makes sense.
Yep.
Thank you. And this is specific for middle school?
Correct.
Yeah. And so this is new for middle school?
It's
No.
formalized for middle school.
Okay, is that what it is? So
Yes.
right now, it's been just an informal process? Or no, I don't know, I'm asking. I don't know.
There's been a process. It's not necessarily been consistent across both middle schools.
Gotcha.
So it was an ongoing conversation that we've had, and when Carrie took the position, she was kind enough to have it cross the finish line, so to speak. So
Gotcha.
make sure it was clearly vetted, close the loop on it, and bring it to you tonight. You'll be approving the actual candidates at the
That was
board
my next
meeting.
question. So
Yes.
we don't have people.
Oh, no, we already have
We
people.
You do have people in these
Yes.
positions, but
Yes.
Yes.
we're formalizing everything. That's
Correct.
Exactly.
the intent here, is formalizing the process.
Yep.
Exactly.
Thank you for that clarification.
No worries.
Any other questions, comments? Okay, take consensus, Amanda?
Yes.
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 And yes, thank you very much. And I believe that is it.
Could
And
I just make
yes,
one other
yes, sure.
thing? I just want to
Yep.
give you an update about the raffle.
The raffle.
The
Oh,
raffle
the
for the
car
car.
raffle. Yeah.
I won? No?
No, you weren't eligible.
The amount that was collected was $24,070. The woman who won it is from New Haven. She received she bought her card from her nephew who's on the golf team. And will be at Meriden with her on Thursday. She'll get the car
Oh,
on
wow.
Thursday, so,
Cool. Thank you for that update.
yeah. I
So
just
how does
wanted-
that work? Do we keep does the 24,000,
The 80% goes to the different organizations,
okay,
and the Board of Ed has 20% of that.
20%.
So
So
some of the organizations were both the Lyman Hall and Sheehan Booster Clubs,
Right. the
band
Moran-
boosters as well as the
Moran
athletic.
PTO, the Lyman boys basketball, Sheehan baseball, Moses PTO, boys lacrosse, Sheehan tennis girls, DAG PTO, so it was
So what, they came to us and said, these boosters
Sold-
expressed a need, or, they sold the tickets?
tickets, yes.
So by selling the tickets, they got to keep 80% of the
Correct.
proceeds. Perfect sense. Thank you.
Anything else? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.